So we have the brand new Rezael card, the Mythic of Miracles Riftoor, and yes, the title is clickbait, but it is kind of true because you cannot call Sentinels from Hand's Guardian Circle until end of battle. So let's go over the card first. So we have the new Rezael card and 3 new Kyrie cards. So first off, the Mythic of Miracles Riftoor. I have no clue if I'm saying that right. I'll wait till the dub. Auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, costs counter +1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or greater card with Rezael's card name from among them, reveal it, put in its hand, shuffle deck. If you do not reveal a card, counter charge 1. So essentially refunds itself if you whiff finding the Rezael. Auto rearguard circle, when this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Rezael on its card name, this unit gets power plus 5k until end of that battle. And then if this unit was placed on rearguard circle by the ability for your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Rezael on its card name this turn, and your damage zone has 4 more cards, this unit gets plus 10k instead of plus 5k. Then if it got the plus 10k and it's the 5th battle this turn, your opponent cannot call Sentinels from hand to Guardian Circle until end of battle. Oh my gosh, there's so much what if conditions in this auto, but basically what it's saying is if it's the 5th battle that turn, all the conditions were fulfilled basically being called by Rezael skills, it gets plus 10 and your opponent cannot PG. Calling this off King skill with, let's say, an 18k booster because you do have the set 7, that's can also soul boss 1 and give plus 5k to front row, by the way. We still don't have the set 7, actually comes out in 2 weeks in English. We have the sneak peek this weekend. But yeah, this is really big for Rezael because you have basically off King skill, you're going to call Gab this and then like an 18k booster. So you're reaching roughly 53k. So like off the top of my head, this gets plus 10. You have Persona at 30, 35 from King, usually an 18k booster. Let's say you have the power to front row, you're already at 48, 53. And that's before you have triggers from like King's drive checks as well as Gab's 1 singular drive check. So already really, really big. Your kill potential at 4 damage is really huge with this deck. So you do need to be limited to 4 more damage so people can still kind of play around it. The same thing with Gab, you can kind of be kept at 3 damage. But again, a really big upgrade for the deck. I do wish, because Dog was hidden JP, that this was maybe doing a little bit more early game instead of just check top 7, find a Rezael. But nonetheless, it's still a really, really big upgrade for Rezael, and I'm really excited for this to come to English. And I really hope they don't hit dogs in English. Please, Bushiroad, if you somehow see this, do not touch dog in Rezael. Please don't. Please don't. Anyways, moving on to Kyrie, we have 3 new cards for Kyrie. So essentially the brand new grade 3 Kyrie. We have the grade 2 restander as well as the common rare. I said common rare, but it's a rare. Anyways, so starting off with Kyrie, we have continuous Vanguard circle. Your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater. All of your rearguards placed this turn get plus 5k. And then on attack, you can choose up to 2 of your rearguards, return them to hand. Then cost, counter +1. Choose up to 2 cards in your hand, called into open rearguard circle. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you get drive +1 until end of that battle. And then auto Vanguard circle at the end of your turn. Choose up to 1 of your rearguards, return its hand. If your Persona roll this turn, you get to choose up to 2 cards instead of 1 to return back to your hand. So this is essentially grade 4 Kyrie, but with an additional skill. But it's kind of awkward because I personally feel like with Kyrie, you do want to be spending all your CB on cards like Huolette or World Brigia or anything else that's really either building a board, even though I guess Strega doesn't use CB, or basically spending that CB to draw 1 essentially. And so going to grade 4 Kyrie kind of mitigates those costs, but you do technically lose the balance at the end of turn compared to this new Kyrie. But I mean, you have Huolette and other cards that already do that. So it's a little bit awkward because I don't really know how to feel about this card. Like, I'm not a Kyrie main, but this is essentially grade 4 Kyrie and a grade 3 Kyrie. And I'm going to get to the JP channel list, which has like a bunch of clunky cards, including mermaids, because that's what the grade 2 support does. But essentially, compared to grade 3 Kyrie, you don't have to bounce 2 anymore on the attack, which is really, really nice. This is, again, probably your ride deck target that you can either decide to stay on or maybe still play Yasmin or whatever else to skip into the grade 4 if you went second. But essentially, this is kind of mitigating those costs in case you don't want to spend that CB. But again, you have to spend that CB to choose with 2 cards from hand and call and get the drive +1, because if you don't pay that cost, you're not getting to that part in the text. So it's a little bit awkward. And then again, going on grade 4 Kyrie, you kind of just sit there and like really the only downside to grade 4 Kyrie is that you kind of have to like you kind of get played around by triple drive and things that are anti-grade 4, but really it's just Sanct. Sanct is really the only downside to going to grade 4 Kyrie, and you still get that triple drive every turn without having to CB1, having that condition and cost tied to it. So in my opinion, I think Kyrie's still going to be playing grade 4 Kyrie. We'll see how it is. I don't have any deck lists drafted right now on CFA because the cards aren't actually on CFA, but those are basically my thoughts. And the bounce is really nice, but Huolette basically does the same thing for the last part of the Vanguard skill. Alright, so moving on to Resonance of Reflection Appel, this is basically the Penelope 2.0 because the second rearguard circle restand is essentially the same. So you have auto, when placed off rearguard circle, you choose a grade 3 mermaid from your ride deck and reveal it. If you reveal the card, or if you have a grade 3 grade mermaid Vanguard, which is Kyrie as well, by the way, you can cost counter +1, look at check top 7, choose a 1 mermaid normal unit without sentinel, or up to 1 prism pearl and twinkle powder from among them, reveal your hand, reveal it, put it into hand, shuffle the deck. If you not put a card, you countercharge 1, so it refunds itself if you whiff. And then when your other front row unit is front row rearguard circle is returned to hand by the ability of Grade 3 Rearguard or Vanguard with Kairi in its card name, you can cost energy +3, stand all of your rearguards in the same column. So essentially, this is Penelope 2.0 instead of Soul Blasting 1. E4 is a little bit costly because you're never really going to have enough energy to like E7 draw 1, but essentially if you are at 9ish energy, you can use 2 of these if you have to. So let's talk about the grade 1 first, really quickly. So when this unit is placed on rearguard circle of Grade 3 Rearguard or Vanguard with Kyrie, choose the one asset size, put in drop, from your drop, put it into soul. Leaving Vanguard with assets, it gets plus 2k. So you're essentially just being a 10k booster fueling soul. Alright, so looking at the list we actually got from the Deck and Fight, so this is the official JP channel. This is the sample deck list they put up. So the only mermaids here actually that you're adding is Penelope, Vanguard, so you can grab Persona rides off this, which is really nice. You also have Friendships. I believe Yuika's not a mermaid. I actually have to check that. And then the set 7 Persona Recycler, as well as the grade 3 set order. That's the Twinkle Powder card. So that card gives boost, and you have to soul blast 1 for it though. So essentially your grade 1 is fueling your soul back, but you're using that to give boost to a unit. So I don't know, like Frenchette or whatever in the back row. But the deck looks really clunky in a mermaid kind of build. I think the only reason you're really using this restander is because it's like extra copies of Penelope, even though Penelope is a little bit better because it's a 15k beater on its own, becomes 20 with Kyrie's skill, pumping it +5, and then you also have restand, so it's the same skill. You're burning soul a little bit faster, but you give +5k to your front row, which is like really big on your kill turns, especially when you want to push a lot of damage. So it's a little bit awkward because I don't personally know how to feel about this because I don't actually own Kyrie. I've just really been playing it on Deer Days, and I think with this kind of build, you're asking your deck to be a lot more clunky, and you also have to, because you have no CC essentially to mitigate the counterblast 1 cost for Kyrie's Van skill for the bounce, you're essentially stuck on a lot of cards that have to not use CB, which make things really awkward unless you play like Yasmin and go into the grade 4 Kyrie, in which you're probably playing Forbital or probably Ballista Ride Line and other things just to make your life a little bit easier. But I mean, you're still going to be playing this new Kyrie in the red deck because it's just better. And like, if you can't find the ride up and you're going to second, then this still helps you get the drive +1, 2 bounces as long as you have the CB. The thing is, you just need the CB, and then every turn after that in like the long game, you still need that CB in order to play. So it's a little bit awkward. You know, your good generics are still here again as usual, Frenchette and Yuika. And, you know, like the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. I don't know why Soul Fronts are here, honestly. Like I assume it's just for Yuika, Penelope, and then the order that's burning it a lot. But honestly, I don't think a mermaid build is the way to go with Kyrie, in my opinion. I think people will cook like grade 4 Kyrie, so you can play first or second, and also you can just be playing other cards like Wolbergia again, and other cards that CB to draw instead. So it's a little bit awkward, in my opinion, because you really do want to be spending every CB to draw 1. So if you're going to grade 4 Kyrie, again, like I said earlier, you're basically spending every CB to draw instead of having to spend the CB to do a multi-attack every turn. But yeah, that is basically my thoughts on Kyrie. Oh, and they also nerfed the order. So for those who don't know, Mygo and Morphonica actually got brand new support in set 8 in form of collab cards. And they essentially nerfed one of the orders so the deck can't do 8 attacks and 8 drives. So they basically pre-hit a collab deck, which is kind of crazy before release. Again, this card wasn't supposed to be intended this way. It was supposed to be locked only to Tomori Van, and people were using it with Mashiro, the Morphonica unit. So they technically pre-hit it or pre-corrected the text on the card before they printed it, just so things don't get out of hand, or at least it's like a pre-errata so people know they can't do like this crazy high roll combo turn 3. But yeah, that is pretty much everything for next week. We have, let's see, we have the Ace unit for Brandgate, so that's pretty exciting. Could be a big Vice support as well as Empoleon and other stuff, you know. And you also have the generic triple for each for Dark States and Brandgate, and then a highly anticipated strengthening card for the Zero Tendo start deck. So I assume that's going to be the Skyride cards he used. It doesn't say it's from Koro, so I guess it can't be the Gallatin skin, but we'll see. We'll see what it is next week. And then information on reprinted cards. That's honestly what I'm more interested in, because as soon as English confirms that, we're basically getting either brand new cards like Blazing Warcry that we're still missing in English and whatnot, such as, or Blaster Blade the Vanguard, which we already have confirmed in English for Festival. That's supposedly going to be the first printing, unless we somehow get it before that. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of yapping along. Those are basically my thoughts of the new Rezael card and Kairi. Honestly, pretty good stuff all around, pretty big upgrades. I think Kyrie is definitely one of the best lyrical decks by far. it'll definitely be good. Like, it was already good before these new cards, but it's just more consistent now. Like, you have your new Restander finds you Persona rides, and then new Kairi is just solid all around if you can't find your ride up, and it's also just a better grade 3 when you have to, you know, sit on Kyrie for a turn. And then the new Rezael card again is just really, really good. Finding Rezaels is really nice, and then, you know, being able to say no to PGs when your numbers are massive is really good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll just have to mess this up, and I'm just kind of yapping here at the end, but yeah, I'll chop up the audio, see how it goes, and thank you so much for watching.